Learning is a joy. At schools which specialise in providing education for deaf and hard of hearing students in a nurturing environment. The rights of deaf or hard of hearing students to achieve the best possible education through their primary and post-primary years are no different from those of hearing children. However, the education and development needs of deaf and hard of hearing children are unique. They need the specialist skills and methodologies in language acquisition, signed, spoken, or both simultaneously, to develop and maintain literacy levels. There are different methodologies and different approaches to the education of deaf and hard of hearing children. Whatever the methodology used, it should be based on the individual needs of each child.
I couldn't really emphasise enough the importance of early intervention, particularly in the case of deafness. Prenatal screening is vital. I know it doesn't happen in Ireland, not nearly enough, and indeed early diagnosis doesn't happen. But once a child has been diagnosed, then work can start on helping and working with that child to overcome the barriers that deafness puts in his or her way. And the earlier, really, it's absolutely vital to say the earlier that intervention starts, the better it is for the child and indeed for the whole family.
In Ireland, currently, there are only 3 schools which specialise in providing education for deaf and hard of hearing children from primary through second level. The largest of these schools are St Mary's School for Deaf Girls and St Joseph's School for Deaf Boys, both in Dublin. They both focus on enabling deaf and hard of hearing children develop in a manner unique to each child.
Parents often face a difficult choice about whether a child should go to a mainstream school, be local, or go to a specialist deaf school. There are many different options. However, in my view, having a school which is friendly to deaf children, provides a total communicating, including signing opportunity, provides an appropriate peer group for the developing child, has many pluses. Obviously, the parents need to remain closely involved with that child, and teachers and parents and families all working together, those children do very well.
Well, Sheikha was diagnosed as being deaf just a little over a year old, and we were sent to Crumlin. She was diagnosed, and then we were sent to Beaumont. She got a cochlear implant and everything was going as it should be going, but her speech didn't develop at all.
Callum is 7. He's my youngest son. I have 3 older kids. Deafness is totally new in our household. It wasn't something I'd ever come across before. There was a hearing unit within a local national school, and he went there for a year. And we honestly thought this was great, that, you know, so close to home and everything. But he wasn't progressing as well as we knew he could. And we had a few problems down there in that. So what we did was we went online, because I thought there had to have been somewhere better, and we came across St Joseph's.
She started in a mainstream school in Trim and lasted 6 weeks before the principal said, no, this isn't working out. So I ended up ringing directory inquiries and looking for a number for the deaf school, and spoke to Bridie for about an hour and a half. She said, come up, visit us. Came up to visit her, fell in love with the school, brought Sheikha with me. Sheikha settled in straight away, loved the place, and the following week her dad came up and said, yeah, we'll send her there.
At both schools, students progress through the same standard Department of Education curriculum as in mainstream schools, but also benefit from having a nurturing environment that is specially geared towards educating deaf and hard of hearing children. The teachers in both of these schools are trained in sign language and come from both hearing and deaf communities. They have specialist skills and knowledge that enable them to communicate with and relate to the students.
They're not just teachers here, they're kind of surrogate mammies, you know, they love her, and they worry about her the same as I do, so that's great.
I feel I can relate to the student, can relate to me more as well. We've a lot in common because I'm a past pupil of the school. I'm deaf as well.
Each student gets individual attention on each aspect of the curriculum.
While in a hearing school, they spend attention on the class as a whole, so people don't really get the attention they need.
The classes are much smaller, and you get more individual attention, and I I know that if I hadn't have come here, I definitely wouldn't be the teacher that I am today.
Students also have the opportunity to learn about deaf heritage and culture, which are crucial to their sense of understanding and inclusion, as well as helping create their positive deaf identity.
Many deaf young people I see who have not had a comprehensive language bilingual approach can feel very uncertain of their identity in later life. Many young people feel they don't belong into the deaf or the hearing world. And I think this is very sad, because if they are given all the right opportunities, they can move with confident in their identity as a deaf person, both in the deaf and hearing world. With early language development, English or spoken language, and particularly written language, as a second or even preferred language, can blossom. If you look into the deaf world now, many of my professional deaf colleagues have, for example, come from deaf families, have sign as their first language, and yet they have, on top of this, developed written and spoken English, and they are the confident bilingual high flyers. There is no reason why deaf children in hearing families cannot equal these achievements.
Another thing that sets St Mary's and St Joseph's schools apart from mainstream education is the approach to communication. Irish Sign Language is taught from a young age, so the students are better equipped to communicate with each other and the wider community.
Callum is deaf, so he's never going to be fully incorporated into the hearing community, so he needs to be educated and incorporated into the deaf community, which is what happens here.
The environment at the schools is warm and inclusive. As students are among their peers, they feel part of a community, not outsiders.
The teachers are all signing, and it's just, his confidence grew, everything. It was just an incredible change in him.
Students get to interact with pupils who have the same needs as themselves and make lifelong friends while at school. They experience positive peer interaction and extracurricular activities, which mainstream schools cannot always offer due to communication issues. Both schools welcome day students and boarders, and there are no fees required. You were asking me where all the boys are from. Some are from Dublin and some from the rest of Ireland, such as Cork, Galway and Donegal. All over the place, so there's a good mix here at the school. The residences embody a home away from home from Monday to Friday for student boarders.
You get used to it after a while, like any other boarding school. I actually love it at the moment. There's a lot of after-school activities available. The staff are very friendly. It's a nice place to be, it is.
Each residence is equipped with the latest communication and information technology systems. While at the residence, the pupils are supported in their educational and developmental attainment through, for example, homework support, sports and social activities. The involvement of parents in all aspects of their children's welfare is encouraged. There is a residential family counsellor available on the campus for any student or parent who wishes to avail of the service. Both schools and residences have clear and effective child protection procedures in place, which are updated each year. St Mary's works in cooperation with parents to enable each student to achieve her full physical, emotional, intellectual, social and spiritual potential. The ethos is to educate the whole person, and the school seeks to develop the communicative, educational and emotional needs of its students.
I think it's great because I can communicate well with my friends, and I can hear, I can sign with some of my friends.
I have a lot of friends around here. It's a very comfortable place to be. Like, you can relax. At the same time, you can learn a lot of things around here. I like the school here.
I wouldn't describe it as a school. I describe it very much as a family. You know, they're very... Anytime I've come up to collect Sheikha, everyone is friendly, everyone is nice. You know, when Sheikha first started here, I was on the phone every day, twice a day. I'd say they were sick of me. And every day I rang up, they went, Sheikha's fine, that's great. Ring if you're worried, there's no problem, she's doing well. Like, they took 5 or 10 minutes out of their day to reassure me. It's no problem. They've lovely Christmas parties here. Santa Claus comes. They have a birthday party when it's the children's birthday. They have an end of year party. You know, it's great fun to go to school.
I think the atmosphere is very friendly.
Everybody's very lively, they get along well. There's not much tension or anything like that you would get in a bigger school.
St Mary's, founded in 1846, is located in the grounds of the Dominican convent Cabra. It has its own board of management and is under the trusteeship of the Catholic Institute for Deaf People. St Mary's residence is located on the school campus in modern buildings, surrounded by mature trees and garden. The mission of St Joseph's is to create a positive and supportive educational and social environment for all its students, so that they receive the best possible education and support services available.
The atmosphere in St Joseph's is just seems to be incredible. The kids, they all seem to be just so, in tune with each other and happy, which is very, very important.
Well, you can make a great friend here in the school. Yeah, sometimes you can be with them a long time. Who'll be your best friend, your childhood friend.
St Joseph's is set in a 30-acre parkland with excellent sporting facilities, including a swimming pool, and is within 15 minutes of Dublin city centre. That's a very good question. In terms of the differences at the school in the past to the present day, the school was bigger and there were no options. I think now there are far more options in terms of what students want, and they are getting better results because of it and getting into college, unlike before. There is more variety in the teaching of subject levels, including the students doing honours level subjects. I can definitely see this.
Yeah, I went to the Deaf Olympics just recently in September, and I played for the Irish Deaf team, the men's senior team, and there was 17 who played for them, and we came out of 6th place out of 17. It was a good experience. I was the youngest on the team, and the other boy here. It was really good, yeah.
The residence in St Joseph's consists of 6 modern houses on the school campus.
Say about six kids in each house in and around that, and they're all very happy here, actually, has to be said. They have a great social life. They all mingle in all between all the houses all the time, so there's be plenty to do. There's football, snooker, table tennis. They organise things up with the girls' school as well, so they do have discos throughout the year and all that type of stuff. So, in fairness, they have a good life.
St Joseph's was founded in 1857, and since 1997 is managed by its own board of management under the trusteeship of the Catholic Institute for Deaf People. Deaf and hard of hearing children face particular and significant challenges in progressing through the education cycle.
I have to say, I think the role of the 2 special schools, St Joseph's and St Mary's, is hugely important. They have real expertise. The pupil-teacher ratio is much better than a child will find in an ordinary mainstream school. And even though one would like to see them better resourced, there is real expertise there and a real chance of proper, appropriate help.
At both St Joseph's and St Mary's, they benefit from having an inclusive environment that is specially geared towards their education and development needs.
And what do you want to do when you're finished school?
I like to be a teacher. Maybe.
It's great. There is such a deaf community feel here, which makes everyone happy, as everyone can communicate fluently with each other. The core belief of the schools is that students prosper when they can communicate directly with their teachers, staff, and classmates. Both schools operate a flexible and inclusive approach to communication. This caters to the diverse needs of the students and ensures that each student gets individual attention on each aspect of the curriculum in a nurturing and warm environment. One in which it can be truly said that learning is a joy.